everyone, Bill Nichols here. Thanks for joining me in my first video of my Lightroom Zero to Hero series. This is going to be a 20 to 25 video series. I'm going to release 1 to 2 videos a week, teaching you how to go from knowing nothing about Lightroom to becoming very proficient in Lightroom. If you already know a lot about Lightroom, join me anyways. You're going to pick up some tips, you're going to pick up some tricks. Lightroom is one of my most used programs that I use for my photo editing. And when I first started using Lightroom, I was confused about it. It seemed kind of big for me. I was just using Photoshop at the time, editing one photo at a time. And then when I started really shooting and generating a lot of photos, I started using Lightroom and found that my workflow and my efficiency just went through the roof. It was a great program. Lightroom's largely made up of a few modules. And today I'm just going to give you a real high-level overview of Lightroom. I'm going to give you a couple of tips or tricks that you can use as you start using Lightroom. But just join me starting today. This is part 1 on my Zero to Hero series, trying to get you from being a Lightroom beginner to becoming not quite an expert, but becoming very proficient, being able to do some great edits and really getting the most out of your images. So with that, I've got Lightroom open and I'm going to step through some basic functionality in it. Today we're going to go through the library module, we're going to go through the develop module, I'll show you the map module and the book module. I haven't really used them. A little bit about the slideshow, a little bit about the web, and then just some tools that are in there. So when you first start using Lightroom, Lightroom is broken up into these modules, like I said earlier. And then in the modules, as you click into each one, you'll see the available tools will change. So now when I went to develop, it changed. When I go to map, it changes. When I go to book, it changes. So each module has its own group of tools, and those tools are what you can apply and use in those modules. So it's only showing you what you can really use. So right now I'm in the library module. And in this module, we have the Navigator that's on the left-hand side. You have your tools that are available on the right. In the middle, there's the image viewer. You've got some options down here to view your images. Then you've got the film strip on the bottom, and it gives you some basic info about the files. So let's step through this. On the left-hand side, on your Navigator, you have these 4 sections: catalog, folders, collections, and published services. Published services, we'll go from the bottom up since the bottom's already open. These are destinations for your photos that you're editing. So if you want to send something to a hard drive, or you want to send it to Facebook, or you want to send it to Flickr, or you want to send it to SmugMug or something else, you can set those services up here, tag images, and have them go right up. Going into collections, a collection is a logical group is a logical folder where you can put groups of files. So by default in Lightroom, there are some smart collections that are already made. Like in here, you'll see ones that are colored red. So you can label images red, yellow, green, blue. You can rate them 1 through 5. You can do all kinds of things with them. So they have ones right here that if you've labeled them red, they will show up here. 5 stars. If I click on this collection, it's a smart collection. Any image that I've rated 5 stars shows down below, so you can see a stock image I shot of a desktop, the Walt Disney Concert Hall, Paris, Notre Dame, a family at Versailles, some violin making. These are some images that I rated as 5 stars, and Lightroom has a smart collection for that. Then you've got ones that you've worked on in the past month, ones that you've recently changed, ones that are video files, and ones that don't have keywords. Let's go up above that. Under folders, when you pop down folders, if I had my images spread across many drives and many folders, this is where I can actually see where my images are lying. So I can see in here that I have this OWC hard drive, and I have these 3 main parent folders, then one that's grayed out with a question mark. The one that's grayed out with a question mark are images that I previously added into my catalog, but for some reason Lightroom can't find them right now. So maybe I moved them, I deleted them, or maybe they're in a drive that's disconnected. But if I do have them somewhere on here, and I'm not going to do this right now, I could right-click this, I could say find missing folder, and I could go and find that folder, find the one folder, and then any folders that are underneath that Lightroom would find as well if they were still there, and it would relink them up and they'd be available. As I go into a folder, it'll just show me the images that are in that folder. And then if I go to catalog, this is the information about my current catalog. So all photos, there's 3,178 photos in this catalog. There's 663 that were previously imported. And let's just go into one folder to start. Okay, so now let's go over to, so on the film strip here, you saw how you could go into a folder, then just scroll back and forth. And I see over here, the folder that I'm in is Paris 2015. There's 425 photos in that folder. I've selected one, and this is the image name. Now, up in my image viewer here, I'm viewing a single image, and you can see that right here. I can also view a grid of the current folder that I'm in. So when I click that, I can see a grid, and I can make very small thumbnails so I see a ton of them at a time, or I can make large thumbnails so I think there's 2 side by side, right? So right now I'm going to go into the single view. I could do an XY compare, so I could select 2 images, then click this XY, and you'll see them right next to each other so I can compare them. So maybe this is the one that I think that I want, and maybe my client says that they want this one instead. We can bring them up side by side, take a look at them, and make a decision. Then I can do a survey view where I do more than XY. So now I've got 4 images, and we could look through there and say, oh, actually, I think, you know what, actually, I think that this image over here, this is a better image. Let's go with this one. And then you've got faces. And what faces does is it'll look for faces throughout your photos. It'll keep a catalog of them, and then it can tag faces in the future. So that's your basic, your image viewer, your Navigator pane, your film strip. And on the right-hand side in library, we have a few quick develop things that we can do. So over here, we have some default settings for presets. This is where you see a bunch of Lightroom presets that are already built into Lightroom. So I can do a blue filter, color presets, cold tone, bleach bypass. And as I click one of these, you'll see the image change. There it is. And now that actually doesn't look too bad. It's a little too punchy, but I can just undo it really quick. Command Z is an undo on Mac, or Control Z on your PC. By the way, I am a Mac user, so most of my keyboard commands that I give you are going to be Mac specific. But if you know that a command is a control or whatever, you can really quickly find out what they are on PC. And then you can control your tone in here, your exposure. The other thing that I can do in this view is I can add keywords now. So when I first import images, I always add keywords for what they are. But since I don't have a keyword on this photo, you can see I can really quickly go Eiffel, Paris, 2015, sunrise, clouds, river, boat, road, trees, right? And now, let me click off that image and go back. Now you can see all of those keywords right here. And later on through Lightroom, let's say that I'm in this catalog and I'm looking for a picture of the Eiffel Tower, but maybe I have the Eiffel Tower in like 8 different folders because I've gone there on jobs or over the course of 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. I've gone there many times. And I don't want to go through all of these folders that might have pictures. If I click in Eiffel and I just type in Eiffel in a filter, then it'll pull all the pictures that have the keyword Eiffel Tower or Eiffel. Same thing with sunrise. Maybe I'm looking for a sunrise. That's a better example. And I'm looking across all of my images that I've ever taken, because maybe I have sunrises here in Orange County, maybe in Paris, maybe in North Carolina and Oregon and Los Angeles and San Diego. And I just want to look for some great sunrise photos to edit, or maybe somebody's looking for one and maybe I have one that's a good choice for them. I can type in sunrise, pull up all of my sunrise images, and then see them. And then down here as well, you have information. So here's a keyword list that's in here if I've made keyword lists. And then I've got information and metadata about this picture. If this picture was synced up into Lightroom Mobile, which lets people pull it up on the web or on their phone or on their tablet or whatever, and they made any comments, I would see those comments right here under comments. So that is the library module. I'm going to go through these pretty quick. I want to keep this video pretty fast, 3 to 8 minutes, so that you're not stuck in here. I'm going to try and give you a few tips. So let's go over, I'll give you one tip right now really quick. What we didn't talk about were filters. So down here you have filters. And now I'm just going to pull down here, and right now the filters are off, so it's showing me all the images. I'm not filtering them on a certain type of criteria. But let's say that I choose rated. So as I choose rated, it's going to show me all of the images in this folder that are rated 1 star or greater. So I've got my film strip down here, and while I could scroll, I can also just do the grid view and pull them up. Let's make these a little bit bigger and really quickly scroll through a bunch of images, right? So maybe I'm looking for this now 1 star. Maybe I want all 3 star images and not ones that are just 1 star. I click 3 stars. So at 1 star, I could see that I had 51 of 425 are rated 1 star. I go to 3 stars, I can see that I have 38 of them. So I can go in here and I can go, oh yeah, that's a great, that's a great picture inside of Notre Dame, or there's Versailles, right? Or here we are, outside just walking around Paris. Here are kids on the fountain or whatever. And you can just pull these up and find them really quickly. So that's one tip if you're looking for something. And likewise, I'll show you really quick how you rate an image. So you can go down here to an image. Let's turn the filters off. So now I have an unrated image right here. I can right click this and I can go to rating. I can go to set rating, and I can give it a rating of 1 through 3. I can go here in the image and make it a 1 through 5. I can go here on the image and make it a 1 through 5. Or the quickest way, I love keyboard shortcuts. In one of my upcoming videos, I'm going to go through the most useful Lightroom keyboard shortcuts. And then probably later down the road, I'll do a really extensive keyboard shortcut video for you. because once you know keyboard shortcuts, you don't really use the mouse as much. You can just fly around, you become that much more efficient. So the numbers 1 through 5, think of it as 1 star through 5 stars on your keyboard in Lightroom. I hit a 3, that's now a 3. I hit a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I set 5 ratings there where I could have gone here and clicked, right, and set this. If I just go up here and I hit a 4, it's set to 4 now, and that's the rating. I'm going to hit 0 so that it sets the rating to none. And that is the library module in a nutshell. Let's go into develop, and I'll show you a little bit here. As you go from module to module, you will have some tools that are carried over, because like in the library, it gave you some options for some presets and for some quick edits. And then the develop module lets you go very deep into editing, and it's going to give you all the presets that are here on the left-hand side of the Navigator. So I can go to effects presets and say, show me some heavy grain. Right now you can go in here and see the heavy grain, maybe medium grain instead, right? It's a little bit better. Let's go ahead and undo those so that it's back. Maybe I want a heavy vignette. There you go. So here's your presets. Then down below that, you've got the history of what you've done, and then the collections are there just like they were before. I've got my film strip down below. I've got, over here, I've got all of my editing tools. So really quickly, I've got a crop tool. So it puts a bounding box around here, and I can grab that and I can free crop it. Or if I grab it and I hold down Shift, it's going to constrain the aspect ratio, and it'll keep the same aspect ratio even if I change it to go vertically. So I can squash it all the way over and then make it come vertically, or I can come down, and it'll maintain that aspect ratio by holding Shift. I've got a spot removal tool. So really quick on the spot removal, let's just get rid of the moon. Click on the moon. So that spot removal, red eye. Red eye removal is right here. So if you've got people with red eyes, you can click on that and get rid of them. Graduated neutral density filter. This will change your exposure in a certain direction. So I'll show you that really quick. Click on it. This is great for making the background of something in the foreground, or maybe the sky and the ground the same exposure. So you can see the sky's a bit brighter here than it is down below. So I can really quickly grab this, bring it down and line it up. So about right there. And now just reduce that exposure down. Right, and now it's getting to where it's about the same as the rest of the image. I can move that around to affect how it's applied. Then it's obvious that, oh yeah, there's some tint here, right? So let me just take the tint so that it's not all crazy. And there you go. And now that exposure. And then over here, you've got a radial blur. You've got a radial blur tool. I think that's what they call it, radial filter. So with a radial filter, I can apply any of these adjustment brushes, but in a radius. So I can draw a circle, let's say, put that right in the middle where the Eiffel Tower is. And you can see I can change the exposure around it. Right, so I can do some pretty creative stuff. I can make it more contrasty or less. I could loosen the highlights or make the highlights brighter. Change the shadows a little bit. Maybe bring the clarity down some. Bring the exposure down a little bit more. Maybe bring sharpness down. Get rid of that. Now you can see I've got like a creative vignette where I'm really highlighting the Eiffel Tower there. You know, you can see the vignette right here and right here. Let's get rid of that. There you go. And then over here I have adjustment brushes. And in adjustment brushes, there's a whole bunch of different effects that you can do. And then with that, you have all of these options in each of those effects. And you can change the brush, the feather. You can tell it to auto mask, which is how it looks at a color value and an edge that you're on right now, and it tries to select what's in that same value so that you can really quickly do a mask and apply your effect just to there. This area right here, the adjustment brushes and the develop module, are what in the Lightroom Creative Cloud that they are continuously updating. And there's been a lot of great changes, like this radial filter. When it first came out, it was just a radial filter. You could just apply it to a circle. Now you can actually apply it as a brush. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. Same thing with the graduated neutral density filter, where you used to just be able to go like this and apply it down. Now you can actually grab the brush and you can erase parts of it as well. You never used to be able to do this. That's awesome for the graduated neutral density filter. I'll show you that in like a landscape edit that I'll do in a number of videos moving forward. Your white balance, your tone, your curve tone. So really quickly, you can say, I want this to be medium contrast. You can come in here and play with your curves just like you would in Photoshop, you know, figure out what you want to do here. Your hue, saturation, luminance, your color, split toning, detail. So you can sharpen, you can do noise reduction, you can do lens correction. Let's see if this one needs it. It doesn't. A lot of times, Let's see if we can find one that could use lens correction. So here, so lens correction, when you're shooting, sometimes your camera, your lens is going to create some distortion, right? So maybe it's some barrel distortion, or so it looks like compressed, or maybe it's pincushion where it kind of goes out, or maybe it's skewed because it's a big wide angle. Well, in here, Lightroom sees what lens you shot with, and let me turn the info on this image. So right now, in the upper left of this image, you see there's no info. I can really quickly hit I and see the info, and I can just cycle through. So as I hit the letter I, my image info cycles. So this was a shot at 25 millimeters at 1635. So if I was pointed up at all or anything, I'm going to get some distortion. So now it knows that this was a Canon camera shot on a 1635 f2.8L Mark II lens. So it has a profile for the lens characteristics of that lens built into Lightroom. I can hit enable profile correction. You'll see a little bit of adjustment. So largely what you see, if you look down here, you might not notice it right now, but there's a little bit of a vignette. So it'll fill that in. See how it gets a little bit brighter? And it just makes the image a little more true. There's other manual things that you can do that I'll go into later. You can do some post-crop vignetting, so if you want to add a vignette in here. And then you can go down and you can do some other pieces. So that's developed really in a very quick nutshell. If you ever do edits on your image that you want to get rid of, just all of them right off the bat, you can just hit reset, and there's the image right out of the camera. So pretty big difference there. So there's just a super quick edit in Lightroom. You can see the difference of what it made. And so you can just hit reset and completely reset your image. Likewise, if you want to create another copy that you want to work on, you can always right-click your image. You can say create virtual copy, just right here. Now you'll see I have 2 copies of this image. Now I could go in here and do something like, just make this black and white. Right now I have the 2 of the same images, 2 different processes, 2 different edits that I've done on the image, and I haven't, neither one of them are destructive. Map, if any of these, in the map module, this is going to locate where you took your images on a map. None of the images that I took in here are geotagged, so they're not going to show up on a map. Your camera has to support it, and then Lightroom will find where it goes on here. Book, it'll take all of your images and actually put together a book. So you can see here, it's assembled this book. This is a blurb book. It's a standard landscape, premium luster paper. Then it tells you that from blurb, it's going to be at about $105. You go through with the options here, and then you can send the book to Blurb. Blurb will print it. Blurb will send it to you, and there it is. I haven't done one. I have had a friend that's done one. They said they're very good. Slideshow, you can create a slideshow. Pretty simple. You go and you hit preview. If you have an identity plate set up like I do with my name right here, it'll put that on the slideshow. This is great if you're a wedding shooter, or if you're maybe you did a birthday or a family shoot or something like that. You can go in here. You can make a slideshow, and then if you're outputting this via Apple, through AirPlay to your Apple TV or something on your TV, you can do a slideshow where they show for 1 second or 2 seconds, run through all the images, see where your clients are really excited, what they really love, mark those down, and then go back in later and sell it to them, or whatever you're going to do. And then let's go to print. My least favorite thing about Lightroom is the print module. I think it's terrible. It's maddening. I have spent so much time in here trying to print correctly and got so many prints wrong that I just export my images and I bring them into the Canon print software because I have a large format printer and I have a Canon Pro 1. I just print directly to there. If I were you, you can dig in and learn here. The print module, unless something in my mind changes, I will not be wasting a video on the print module. I just can't stand it. I know people that can, but I don't print through Lightroom. I have done some prints and got successful prints and they're great, but it takes me so long. And it's just really kind of, it's not a good workflow to work through. It fights you when you're trying to set custom sizes or get borderless or whatever. I've never grasped the idea of printing through Lightroom. I'm not going to, so I don't. And then web, this will take your images and it'll create a web gallery that you can upload through FTP to your website. You can export it to upload, do whatever you want. I haven't used this, but I do think one video, I will explore this beforehand, and we'll go ahead and make a web gallery and upload it. So again, we're in Lightroom. This is the library and develop module are the 2 most used modules. They're probably where you're going to spend 90+% of your time. And it's really where I'm going to focus my time on this Zero to Hero series and helping you get up to speed in Lightroom. So thanks for taking the time to join me and watch this video. Stay tuned. I'm going to post these videos at least every Friday for the Lightroom Zero to Hero series. And on some weeks, I'm going to post 2 a week. I plan on recording a number of them this weekend so that I can post them this coming week. But if you found this video useful, please subscribe below. Check out my other videos. If you have a Phantom 4 drone, I'm giving away an awesome case bundle. It's a $265 case for free to a subscriber. All you have to do is watch and comment on the video, and I'm going to randomly pick somebody. But I really appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, I'm going to do somewhere between 20 to 30 videos in this series. If you like this video, give it a like, comment below, share, subscribe so that you'll get notifications. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, put them below, and I look at all of them. I reply to nearly all of them, but I read every single comment, and if enough people say that they want something, I'll make a video about it. Or if there's just something that you need help with, ask me a question, and I'm liable to answer it. So I'm Bill Nichols. BillNichols.tv and BillNicholsTV.com will be the sites going up soon. Until then, it's just the YouTube channel here. My Instagram is WNichols. Follow me there. I post a lot of photography there. You can follow me on 500px. I'm there as well. On Twitter at NichImages, N-I-C-H Images. Follow me wherever you want to follow, and I hope to see you soon in here. Subscribe so that you get notifications of the videos, and I will see you at least next Friday in the next video of Lightroom 0 to Hero. Thanks a lot. Have a great weekend.